Good morning.
Morning, Ron.
Let's turn the record on. This is file number 24298FY, People versus Timothy James Marchand. Mr. Marchand is here with his attorney, Mr. Ross Truckee. Prosecutor is not present. One of the complainants is here, and also some friends and relatives of Mr. Marchand. The actual named complainant the case that he pled on, Mr. Andrag, is not here, but Sarah Marchand is here. The plea was taken, what date was that? On March 12th. I set the matter for sentencing this morning. I had a block of time open. Got the police report. I did allow Mr. Marchand to have contact with Sarah. I prohibited the other contact. He was on pretrial services, and they're here also. And the matter is set for sentencing today. I read the police report, and it's like deja vu all over again. And we're here for sentence today. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Well, Your Honor knows Mr. Marchand, and we're aware of that. I think important in this case is this isn't what the plea was conduct between Mr. Marchand and his biological grandson, who had reconnected with the family after turning 18. He was adopted out at a young age. So he comes back to his biological family, who are almost strangers. He just in the last year had been reintegrating with them. Mr. Marchand had allowed him to stay with them. He'd attempted to stay with Terry Holderman and and Mr. Marchand's daughter, the child's biological mother. And none of that was working out. He'd been a difficult person, and he'd recently been in a mental health facility just prior to this event. So there was a lot of unusual family discord, I suppose I could say. This event was related to the unfortunately common disrespect between a older teen and his elder. There was some chores in the house that weren't getting done satisfactorily, things of that nature, and it of course led to something it shouldn't have. Mr. Marchand doesn't make any bones about the fact that his conduct was wrong, but I think if Your Honor sees the whole picture, Mr. Andrag was some sort of a participant here. He wasn't a violent participant, but there was something leading up to this. It wasn't apropos of nothing. With that being said, this is a kind of a one-shot deal. This isn't a take him to the ground and pound on him kind of thing. This is a brief moment in time with a significant lapse in judgment. Mr. Marchand admitted to the police. He entered a guilty plea in this matter. And I would ask the court to sentence him to some sort of probation. He's open to that. And that could include another anger management programming or anything Your Honor would desire. I don't believe I have anything else.
I'm through community mental health.
Go ahead.
I'm already going through anger management through community mental health. I've already been before this even happened. I was going to constant talking to somebody, and I missed my second date with them when I got arrested. So I got to see them, I think, next month, the 2nd or something, 2nd or the 4th of March.
Well, that's a plus. As Mr. Truckee said, you and I know each other. We go back a long ways.
Yes.
I reviewed some things earlier this morning, and I was sort of surprised at how bad it was. I think this is the 12th time you've been charged with assault. 1988, assault and battery. 1990, assault with a dangerous weapon. That got bound over to circuit court. 1996, assault with a dangerous weapon, bound over to circuit court. 1998, assault with intent to rob, bound over to circuit court. 2000, aggravated domestic violence and drunk driving, pled to DV and impaired. 2002, domestic violence, second. Had a bench trial in front of Judge Welty and you were found not guilty. 2003, domestic violence, second. Pled to DV first. 2004, domestic violence, third offense. The complainant, Sarah Marchand, failed to appear 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And so the case was dismissed by Mr. Fisher. 2003, assault and battery set aside. 2008, assault and battery set aside. 2018, assault and battery dismissed. You have another assault and battery that's pending last pretrial on April 4th.
Yeah, I don't even know nothing about that one.
Well, we'll
That
talk
was
about
news to me about that one. White pigeon or something.
Yeah, you got it pinned. You got a pretrial on April 4th, right?
Yeah, but I never seen no police, talk to police, or
Right.
don't even know
We'll see
anything
what I
about the
tell you.
dude.
Well, and this one is
Whoever-
this like it's
whoever-
deja vu means deja vu is a French phrase that means already seen, literally translated. Deja vu is when you get this feeling you've already seen something before. This goes back 20 years. When I was prosecutor, you would assault Sarah and then she wouldn't cooperate. And yeah, there's more to the picture. This started out with you assaulting Sarah. And the same thing, they couldn't find Sarah when they wanted to serve a subpoena on her. Mr. Marchand assaulted Sarah Marchand when he put his hands around her throat and choked her over a cigarette.
Never happened.
Sarah stated that she had no marks but did black out for a second. Tim then got in a physical fight with Tyler, Sarah's grandson, and then it goes on from there. That's just a bond information report. The actual police report, troopers, good ones, Trooper Sylvester and another went out there. Everybody's upset. They're standing outside the trailer. Tyler's bleeding all over the place, got a towel up to his nose. Sarah said Tim was angry at her for not having cigarettes. Timothy kept calling her names and yelling at her for not doing the dishes. Sarah stated Tim walked up to her and pinned her against the wall by choking her. Sarah stated she had a hard time breathing and she stated, "I was out." Sarah advised troopers she did not have any marks on her neck. She said Timothy went up to Tyler and pinned him against the door and headbutted him and then went outside and was wrestling with Kevin. She wants to press charges. At that time, she was mad. She wanted to press charges. So Sarah wouldn't cooperate like she always does, and that case was dismissed. So it's a matter of your grandson disrespecting you. You are mean. You are a mean.
I can be, yes.
And you've
But
been
somebody's
mean.
got to bring it out in me on yonder. You know what I mean? I just ain't walking around looking for trouble or trying to
But
start trouble.
it seems to find you. And I can
Yeah.
just hear this vision about where's the damn cigarettes, and then it goes down from there. And then you've been doing this for 25 years because that's what was done to you when you were a kid.
Right.
So I don't know what to do. I don't know where this guy is. He's not in the picture anymore. He had a bloody nose and
I believe Mr. Vandrag did submit a victim statement.
Did he?
I've seen it and I can't find it right now. I don't know if I saw it in the prosecutor's office. Or I may have been provided a copy of it.
I don't see one. I'd be interested to know what he says. Let me ask Marissa. Sarah, why don't you come up here for a minute? Just have a seat there. Everybody's back in the trailer at Withers Road,
Yes, sir.
but, and who consists of everybody? You and
Just
Tim?
me and Tim.
So no grandkids, nobody else is there?
Nobody.
And there haven't been any further incidents since
No,
this
sir.
one? Well, you went to jail for 11 days, and then I let you out when the bond was posted. Where is Tyler?
I don't know where Tyler's at. Last time I knew, he was staying with my son, Michael.
I can offer that Tyler he's lived at various Marchand relative residences as well as his adoptive parents in Schoolcraft, which he still uses as his primary address.
Well,
And my son gave him a week because he gets a job and his first couple paychecks, and then he quits and he just wants to plop at somebody's house. He don't want to successful do anything for himself. He runs to his mom to ask his mom to do something. She said, Tyler, you're 18.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the truth. I'm less worried about him than I am about you. You've been getting beat up on for 20 years and you're still there and this still going down.
Tim didn't put his hands on me. Me and Tim was having wild sex, to tell you the truth.
All right.
I haven't
Tim-
touched her in 20 years, man.
No, he hasn't. I will vouch for that.
I don't know what to do. I don't really want to do a probation. One of these times, something really bad's going to happen. So Sarah says nothing happened despite what she told the police that night. And what's generally closest to the truth is what they say right then at the time of the incident. He's been under pretrial supervision and complied with all the terms of it.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm interested to know if there's any input from the complainant, because I don't have any. And the prosecutor didn't feel compelled to be here. But I was surprised at how many of these were. And how many times they either got dismissed or found not guilty because Sarah was either unable to be located or uncooperative. But she's not the named complainant in the case that she pled to.
Your Honor would allow the grace of a probation with a term including marital counseling that may be beneficial to the entire family.
That's
I
what
don't
we
want
are both in
probation.
counseling for. Our next appointment's April 2nd.
You guys are doing some stuff on your own. One option is just give them a year in jail. This is the 12th arrest. It's a felony reduced to a misdemeanor. It's a 1-year maximum. He'd be a trustee. He would do about 300 days minus trustee time, which would be about 270 days. That's what's going to happen one of these times. We're going to get sick of this.
I don't blame you. I didn't mean to cause no trouble. I'm not trying to get in trouble.
Well, to your credit, some of this you've aged out. When you were young, you were doing a whole bunch of dumb stuff.
Right?
And you're not young anymore and you're
No, sir.
tired of being tired. And so you're right. You haven't burned the candle at both ends like you did when we were both younger.
Right.
All right. There is nothing from Tyler, according to Miss Marchand. Miss Countryman. So
I would just offer to Your Honor, I know I've seen a document and reported to be from Tyler that indicated a desire for Mr. Marchand to receive anger management. This was in the preliminary phase.
all right.
Document was provided by this young lady here, Annette.
Annette. All right. Annette, do you have that? Some input from Tyler?
I haven't really got to charge him a whole lot on this. I know he said it was kind of smarting off that, which he does.
Well, and I don't disbelieve that. I think that he's 18, and so he's a carbon copy of Tim when he was that age, and he wasn't going to take any grief from anybody.
Well, I
And,
live in my house, and also had to make, that's why he's not allowed to stay in my house very long or do too much very often, because he bulks up and tries to be that younger version of him.
well, he's got his own he
I'm
got,
trying to get him help right now, like
well, he needs, he had a shitty hand dealt to him. He had a
Yeah.
crappy life. And so now he's 18 and he's mad. He doesn't even know what he's mad about. And he comes in there and you don't have any history together and you got your way of doing things and he had his way and he ended up with a bloody nose out in the
Just trying
front
to help
yard.
the kid, and because his Uncle Terry just run him off. He didn't really have nowhere to go. He couldn't go to his mom's.
Well, I told
So I let
Terry,
him
quit
come here. and-
letting people move in there, but,
Yeah,
That's been the hard part with Tyler is you give him guidance and he goes the opposite. I've even, I had him do Keystone at a hotel and he started using. So I had to go in and run people out, because I was letting him go down my path.
well, you throw methamphetamine into the equation and it makes things even worse. At least you didn't have to deal with that.
right.
That wasn't a
wouldn't have
thing
dealt with
when you.
But I seen him on it when he
You
was
got
up
the
there at the motel room, and yeah, he was pretty whacked out.
We
So
got the aftermath, that's he used and then he was psych ward and went there. So he was still having the come down stage of it all, if that makes sense.
really, all we've been trying to do is help him since he's been back in the family. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, well, tell me about your counseling at CMH.
I started. I went to one, and then I got arrested, and I missed that date, and then I got one coming up the 2nd or the 4th of
The 2nd.
March. So it's for marriage counseling. Me and Sarah, we decided we need to go talk to somebody. So that's what we done. We went to CMH and checked in, and that's where that's at.
Her name's
So I got one
Wendy.
coming up the 4th or the 2nd or something.
Her name's Wendy.
Wendy.
Well, maybe the answer would have been to left you in jail rather than let you out, just to put you back in. You did 11 days jail, credit 11 days. You're doing what you need to do as part of this. But that little discussion we had about a year in jail,
Yes, sir.
all
Oh, that's gonna stick in my mind.
right, you
Yeah.
make a great trustee.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
it's been there now already, you know what I mean?
$125 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee. That's $400. I'm not ordering any restitution. Someone said they were going to take him to the hospital, but I don't think that ever happened. There are some pictures which I was not provided with and couldn't find, and the prosecutor's not here. I think it shows a young man with a bloody nose. That's what was done to you if you lipped off. Somebody smacked you.
Oh, yeah. You know that.
And here we are repeating all this. But I don't know that I'm going to accomplish any more. Sarah's been with you all these years, and
30, I think, almost.
yes, and so the fact that you're doing something now, I guess it's better than the alternative, but the charge against her is dismissed on motion of the prosecutor. So I don't have to like this, but I don't know what else I'm going to accomplish. Anyway, the sheriff needs trustees, so if you want to be one, come back for this and we'll make arrangements for you to
Nah,
do a big block of time. I'm going to give you some time to pay that
thank you, Your Honor.
payment plan.
What about your bond?
That's gone.
It was through a bonding company. I don't
Right.
believe it was cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they make their money. They take
Yeah.
your money, theoretically to ensure that you come, although they don't do that anymore. But you never missed court. You've been late, but you've never absconded. So, we'll go out to the counter. We'll do a payment plan.
Thank you, sir.
11 days, credit 11 days, $400 fine and costs. I'm not doing a probation. This is like the same thing in many of these 12 previous cases. But you're not a kid anymore.
Yes, sir.
You don't like getting in trouble anymore.
No,
You're
sir.
not as angry as you were, but you're still angry. So I encourage you to stay in the anger management program
sir.
you're in.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ross, if you take them
Thank
off
you,
the
sir.
counter, you're off pretrial services.
Thank
Do
you,
you have
Judge.
a tether on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna remove that. So that was part of the sanction also. All right.